Hi, this is Kirk Degiorgio, DJ and producer, and I'm here for Sonic Academy to take you through a complete mix using the new DAW from Universal Audio called Luna. Everyone's talking about Luna, especially for mixing, so I'm going to export a forthcoming remix I've got for the Firescope label out of Ableton Live, importing all the audio into Luna and then utilising all the features that everyone's raving about, such as analog summing from API and Neve, and multi-track and master tape emulation. This is mixing within Universal Audio's Luna. Right, so we're going to have a quick look around Luna, the DAW from Universal Audio. Just remember, this isn't a tutorial on how to use Luna in general. We're focusing on the mix side because there's lots of other features in Luna, such as MIDI recording and live recording through your interface that might not be relevant to everyone. So we're just going to focus on the mix side because this process, I really think, is going to be the future way for a lot of producers and mixers to work. I've already seen on various audio forums that this is becoming the norm now. People who have already invested in the Universal Audio system are doing their production in Logic or Cubase or Ableton, and then they're exporting their stems to mix in Luna. Such is the ease of use for mixing within the Luna architecture. So we're going to focus on the mix features, but just going to give you a general kind of look around first of all so we can get our bearings. You'll see here it's pretty much the same concept if you're familiar with most other DAWs, in that you have like an arrange or an edit view here. And if you change view to these vertical lines here, you'll see that it changes to a completely different window. In here you have your mix window, and that's primarily where we're going to focus our attention. Here you have a browser, and that changes according to whatever you're doing here. So if you're, say, loading a plugin, that will then become a browser to choose plugins from. Your plugins go in here in your inserts, and this strip here is your focus strip. You can hide and view all these here. You can see you've got your windows and your views. You can hide the browser, you can hide the focus channel, and you can even highlight different track versions. You can see here when you've edited your tracks, you'll have versions 1 and then version 2. Once you edit them, you can get rid of those. And there are various other controls around the GUI that are all connected to your interface. So you can see here control room, you can set up your cues, and this requires you to output via Apollo, and it was a complete nightmare to do this tutorial because the screen capture software that I use uses its own driver, so I'm having to record the voiceover and everything on a completely separate computer and system because you have to go out of a UAD interface. You can see here all the clock and everything is all linked to your UAD console. But anyway, we've overcome that and it's all good, so no problem. Right, so ignore that, by the way. If you see, what are those sticking out there? That's just because I re-exported those and I forgot how long they were, and I just, they're a little bit longer than the others, no big deal. Now, what I like to do as well before I get into the mix stage is just crop all these, and this is just to help me with the arrangement. So you can see there that's a little bit fine. Here you have your grid. You can see you have some nice features here. You have a loop marker which you can set here, and as self-explanatory, you then set it on loop. And here you have bars and beats, minutes and seconds, tempo, time signature, and of course you can edit that, or you can delete your time signature, or you can input time signature changes, and you have some markers as well. And of course, if you then click to the left of that, as you probably imagine, you can get rid of some of these. So if we don't need the time signature because it's going to be 4/4 all the way, just get rid of that. If you don't care about minutes and seconds, just click it and it disappears, etc, etc. But I'm not going to use markers either, so let's just streamline that down. Very easy. And then you see the clips, you can have them showing your name, gain control and pitch control. We don't need pitch control at all on our clips, and we can keep the grid lines. I think they're quite handy. Right, so let's change the grid. Let's do it to a bar, so I can now quite easily drag those and have them snap to a bar, and I know that I am not chopping off any bits that I need to keep. Let me just quickly do the rest of this off camera. Okay, so it's not essential to do that, but it helps me work out the arrangement as I'm going along, so that's why I like to do it. Now, if you see here, we have some settings called workflow, and if I click on that workflow, you'll see that it sets it up for recording, and this is primarily to stay within the record and edit window here. Here you have a MIDI icon, and you can see here these settings at the top change to all kinds of features that are necessary for MIDI. And then we have an edit window, and then finally we have a mix window, and that's what we want. Now this is, you can see now why I like to crop my parts, so that when there's no parts playing, I can see the song structure quite clearly within this squashed up window here. And that's because we are going to change around and stay mainly within the mix window, and that's because the whole purpose of using Luna for the mix is to treat it like a real analog console, in my opinion. So we're now about ready finally to get into the mix, to get into some music, and although it's taken me some minutes to explain this, even taking into account setting up each track's gain staging to export into Luna, you can see that the whole process from exporting your session from Ableton, importing it into Luna, and quickly setting up a mix session, it's barely a couple of minutes. There really is, you know, no excuse and thinking, oh, it's too long-winded to do, you know, to produce in one DAW and then export it. No, doesn't take more than a couple of minutes to do it. It is really worth it, trust me. Okay, let's get into the mix stuff.
Thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate the support from you guys. If you liked this video, then smash that like button, and if you want to be notified about new content, hit the subscribe and the bell notifications. Peace!